Imagine changing the way we understand the universe, not with machines or weapons, but with thought, just sitting quietly and thinking. That's what Albert Einstein did. He wasn't a warrior. He wasn't born into riches. He was, for a while, even thought to be slow. But what he had was a relentless curiosity, the kind that made him question everything, from why apples fall to how light travels. Today we still use his ideas in GPS satellites, nuclear energy, and even when trying to understand black holes. Albert Einstein didn't just rewrite the laws of physics. He showed the world that imagination is more powerful than knowledge. And his life? Well, it's a story full of struggles, brilliance, and one very famous hairstyle. Let's dive in. Albert Einstein was born on March 14, 18. He came into the world with no fanfare. His family was Jewish but not very religious, and they were solidly middle class. His father, Herman, ran a small electrical business. His mother, Pauline, played the piano and had a love for music she passed on to young Albert. From the very beginning, Albert was different. As a baby, he barely spoke until he was about 4. Some thought something might be wrong. But once he did begin speaking, he often paused to think deeply before responding, something he did for the rest of his life. He loved puzzles. He loved figuring things out. At just 5 years old, he was given a small compass. That compass changed everything. Why, he wondered, did the needle always point north, even when nothing was touching it? What invisible force was guiding it? That moment sparked a lifelong obsession with the unseen forces of the universe. Einstein's childhood wasn't always easy. He didn't fit into school. The rigid, memorization-heavy education system in Germany didn't suit him. Teachers found him rebellious. One even told him he would never amount to anything. But at home, Einstein thrived. His mother encouraged his love of music. His father and uncle introduced him to science and mathematics. And when a family friend gave him a popular book on geometry, young Albert devoured it with joy, calling it his holy geometry book. One teacher did make a difference. A man named Max Talmud, who visited the Einstein family for dinner and brought books on science and philosophy. Talmud introduced Einstein to ideas that were far beyond his age, and Albert soaked them up like a sponge. But life got hard again. The family moved to Italy after their business failed, and Albert, still a teenager, was left behind to finish school. He was lonely, frustrated. Eventually, he dropped out and joined his family in Milan, later enrolling at a Swiss school, the Polytechnic in Zurich. Even there, Einstein didn't exactly shine. He skipped classes, clashed with professors, and often taught himself from books. But one professor did believe in him, Heinrich Weber, and Einstein slowly found his footing. After graduation, Einstein struggled to find work. No university wanted him. He ended up taking a job at a patent office in Bern, Switzerland. It wasn't glamorous. He reviewed applications for inventions, but it gave him time to think. And when Einstein had time to think, magic happened. In 1905, working alone at his desk, Einstein published 4 groundbreaking papers. This year would later be called his Annus Mirabilis, his miracle year. One paper explained the photoelectric effect, how light can knock electrons out of metal, proving that light acts like tiny particles. This would later win him the Nobel Prize. Another paper introduced what we now call the theory of special relativity. It said that time and space aren't fixed. They bend, they stretch, and they change depending on how fast you're moving. Oh, and then there was a little equation you might have heard of, EMC quadred, energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. This simple-looking formula unlocked the secret that mass and energy are 2 sides of the same coin. Just like that, Einstein became a name known around the world. So, what is relativity? Let's break it down simply. Imagine you're sitting in a train, and you toss a ball straight up in the air. To you, it goes up and down. But someone standing outside the train sees the ball moving in a curved path because the train is moving. Both views are true, depending on your frame of reference. Einstein took that simple idea and stretched it to its limits. He said that the laws of physics are the same for everyone, but how we see time and space depends on how fast we're moving. And later, he took it further with general relativity, a theory that said gravity isn't just a force pulling objects together, it's the warping of space and time itself. Imagine placing a bowling ball on a trampoline. It creates a dip. Now roll a marble nearby. It spirals toward the bowling ball, not because the bowling ball pulls it, but because the fabric it sits on is curved. That's what mass does to space and time. It was a revolutionary idea. When scientists photographed a solar eclipse in 1919 and saw that starlight bent around the sun, just as Einstein had predicted, newspapers declared him a genius. Overnight, he became a global celebrity, but fame didn't change him much. Einstein remained modest, playful, even mischievous. He played violin to relax, often getting lost in the music. He loved sailing, even though he was famously bad at it. And he kept thinking, always thinking. In the 1930s, Einstein fled Nazi Germany and settled in the United States, taking a position at Princeton University. Though he was Jewish, he had never been deeply religious, yet he became a symbol of what fascists feared: intelligence, openness, and truth. He spoke out against war. He warned about the dangers of nuclear weapons. He stood up for civil rights in America. And even though others built the atomic bomb using his famous equation, Einstein himself remained a pacifist. Heartbroken by the destruction of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, he once said, "The world is not dangerous because of those who do harm, but because of those who look at it without doing anything." Albert Einstein died in 1955 at the age of 76. His brain was preserved and studied, but the real genius, many say, was in how he thought, not just what he knew. Today we still live in Einstein's world. GPS satellites must adjust for the effects of relativity to tell you where you are. Nuclear energy, both good and terrifying, stems from his ideas, and physicists still use his work to understand the mysteries of the cosmos, from black holes to the birth of the universe. But beyond science, Einstein's legacy is this: that wonder matters, that questions are more important than answers, and that a single curious mind can change the course of history. Want to dive deeper into Einstein's world? Here are a few treasures. Einstein, His Life and Universe by Walter Isaacson, a beautifully written biography that reads like a novel. Relativity, the special and the general theory, written by Einstein himself in plain language. Yes, really, the documentary Einstein's Big Idea, Nova/PBS, which brings EMC Quattri to life with stories and visuals. Genius, National Geographic series, a dramatized look at Einstein's personal and scientific journey. And for a short burst of insight, check out Einstein's interviews on YouTube. Hearing him speak is like stepping back in time. Curiosity didn't just lead Einstein to answers, it made him human. So ask questions, be weird, wonder about the stars, because you never know, your next thought might just change the universe. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you want more stories that inspire curiosity. See you next time.